According to an article in Fast Company in December 2022, people were leaving their full-time six-figure income jobs to become full-time YouTubers. And with that being said, there are over 400,000 YouTubers worldwide. Now, we also look at an article posted by CBS News. And according to CBS News, in March 2023, people were leaving YouTube. In fact, one YouTuber named Miss Rachel, who sang songs for the littles, found herself leaving due to mental health concerns. There were angry parents messaging her saying that how dare she post about pronouns, or how dare she post about, it's her upcoming surgery. And they didn't even say like what surgery she was talking about. So it could have literally been some typical kind of surgery that is just common for kids. I mean, having a tooth pulled is technically a surgery if you have to undergo anesthesia. And so anyway, we have a grown woman being driven away from her full-time job as a YouTuber in order to protect her mental health. Yes, it's Ray from Get Real Ray, a place and space for life and business tips to hopefully inspire you on your journey, or at the very least provide you with some laughs. Let's get real.
Craving real advice? Tired of feeling like every other small business owner or solopreneur is raking in the dough while you just seem to be raking? Secretly looking for a reminder that starting your own business is not as glamorous as others make it look? Whether you're looking to change the game in your relationships at home or at the workplace, you've come to the right place. My name is Ray. I went from corporate America to running my own small business to becoming a solopreneur. I'm a professional actor and, dare we say, a professional busybody, because this body is about to be busy all up in your biz. So let's get real.
So this actually is not a video about YouTube, but what it is a video about, it's about making sure that we don't niche down so much. We put ourselves in these boxes where we are at risk of hurting ourselves. What do I mean? Hear me out. Okay. So recently I was going through the YouTube. You guys, come on. I can't be going through Netflix all the time. I'm a busy girl. I ain't got time to watch a full movie. I got time for little shorts, little clips, little YouTube videos. And with that being said, I was surprised to see travel vlogger Allison Sharp back in her van. So if you haven't checked out her channel, I came across it earlier this year, actually. Scrolling the tubes, and she had a van life video where she was interviewing another van lifer, and I thought, oh, that's really interesting. And then I just really appreciated her humor and candor, and I thought, I'm gonna go ahead and subscribe to this nice lady, and I was actually happy that I did. And I'm still happy that I did. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos, so when she decided to stop living the van life and to actually buy a house, or I think she bought a condo or something, and take root in one spot, I thought, well, that's interesting. How is her channel going to change? Now, being that I wasn't watching her content quite that frequently, it was just me kind of humming and hawing as a business person and as someone who's just curious about things in life, okay? I'm being nosy. How are you going to change? I'm curious. With that being said, her channel did transition into a lot of videos where she would sit at a desk and talk to a camera, sitting at a desk right now. And she seemed to be giving advice on van travel, which makes perfect sense because that was the world she lived for quite some time. And she also gave her commentary on other life events. And to prepare for this video, I actually went through her channel just to see what are some of the other things that she talked about. She also did videos where she would purchase things and unpackage things. So it looks like she's trying out a lot of different areas in order to find what's her new niche. What's the thing that will allow her to still keep the channel going? Because you have to remember, for a lot of YouTubers, or for some YouTubers, when it comes to making YouTube your full-time job, you have, or I should say they have, thousands of followers. And in order to generate ad revenue, in order to generate sponsorships, in order to keep the money coming in, the creator has to keep creating content that's appealing to their audience. With that being said, Allison is not alone. There are many creators who have found themselves in this position where they want to do something different. When it came to Allison, I was really surprised in my subscribe feed when a video popped up showing her back in her van. I thought, whoa, this is not good. If we have niched down so much to create a world where people know and love us for, in this case, van life, and the desire to do something different is not accepted enough by our audience in order to allow us to continue to sustain our income, do we then have to go back to the thing that we said we needed a mental health break from and do that just to please the audience, just to keep the income coming in? Now, to be fair, I do not know Allison. She may have just been missing living in a van. I myself have had to take to sleeping in my car on occasion when I do long distance trips for work. It is not fun. I tried to make it fun. I said, I'm going to pack this long distance trip into stopping off at state parks. I'm going to live a car life for a hot minute. And I am going to treat myself to a little takeout, or I'm going to buy some yummies from the grocery store to save some money and, eat my favorite cold foods, crackers from a box as I take this trip. And I will tell you, when it is hot outside and you are trying to sleep in a car, it is really uncomfortable. Not only, I'm not talking a big car, I'm talking regular little four-door hatchback, actually, you guys, four-door hatchback. So with that being said, trying to find the right comfortable position to sleep in and of itself is difficult. Purchase this inflatable mattress for the rear seat, which is generally supposed to be like to make your dog comfortable. So yes, I'm sleeping like a dog. And while that was great to help keep my legs from kind of having to be tucked behind the driver's seat, I'm still like crouched up. And I'm 5'5", almost 5'6". So I'm still curled up in the back seat laying across. And when it's hot, you have to try to figure out, can I crack the window enough to keep air circulating so that I'm not in here sweating? Because if it's too hot, you can't sleep well. And how do I crack the windows so that people don't know that there's someone in this car? Because I don't want anyone coming to tap on my window. If the car looks completely abandoned, is it also at risk of being of interest to people who just want to create mischief? Finding places to park is also a thing. While I wound up taking to parking at state parks, which is the safest. If you can park in a state park and you've paid to park there, that is really the safest because people are camping, you're good to go. However, when you're doing things on the DL, I've also taken to parking at truck stops, and that's also fairly safe. I initially did not want to do truck stops, and I thought, oh my gosh, what if there's some trucker out here who's going to attack me? And I have to say, trucking community did not care 2 cents about me. Mind you, I did have to do things in a very discreet manner in order to not be obvious to anyone. But a whole separate video, but depending on like when you're parking and stuff like that, chances are truckers are asleep in the truck. And to be fair, there are other people doing the same thing you're doing. They are looking for a place to sleep. And there's nothing wrong with truckers. Truckers are nice people. They're just like everyone else. It's just a job label. It's not like some special group of people or a special group of crazy people. Why do I say truckers? Because truck stops, rest stops are designed primarily to take care of them. And they do need it. They need so much more. Can we please have like rest stops that have little hotels available so that these guys don't have to sleep in their trucks? I'm just saying. That would be awesome. Sure, they can go and park at a hotel, but that's also like a whole other huge thing. But I digress. Let us get back to Allison. And so, heat is an issue. Cold is an issue when you are sleeping in a vehicle. And her van looks like it's really nicely tricked out. I think she mentioned that she had worked on it with a family member, maybe her dad or something. So, you know, insulation definitely can be kept in mind when someone is creating a van to be lived in for extended periods. However, with all this being said, she has the right to want to do something else. That's just like any job. The life of being a YouTuber is just like any job. I'm going to take it away from Allison. She seems like she's a very nice person and she can do whatever she wants with her channel. She can go back to van life if that's what she wants to do. And I hope that her decision to part-time van life, as she's stated on her channel, is a decision that she's doing for herself, maybe because she misses it, and not from feeling pressure from viewers. With that being said, I did want to throw in just a few little notes from the video that I just mentioned. I will add that as someone who went from wanting to enjoy living in the car to really despising it and doing anything I could to get together the money for the hotel so I did not have to sleep in that car. I will say that if you've done that experience of sleeping in a vehicle more than a handful of times, you will find yourself, or it is easy to find oneself conflicted and drawn to doing really strange things, right? So knowing that you don't really want to eat in your vehicle by yourself, facing your steering wheel, but then finding yourself looking for an excuse to go eat in your vehicle by yourself for the steering wheel, I would eat like boxes of crackers or peanuts as I'm driving because I can't stop because it'll take me longer to get to wherever I'm going. And so finding myself in my home just shoving crackers in my mouth like I'm in a hurry, like I have to go somewhere and I can't stop, which is not really the type of behavior that I want to maintain. Not feeling like my bed is too big and feeling like maybe it would be more comfortable to sleep on the floor or in my closet so that I feel like I'm in confined space. This doesn't happen often, and I admit that is weird, but weird things happen when you've adjusted yourself to being very small in order to live life. So another YouTuber that I'm going to mention while I find this video, because I lost the video, you guys. I'm sorry, I was prepared and then I wasn't prepared. Another YouTuber I just want to mention real quick is Comedy Mustafa. This guy, he has these YouTube shorts about the Det Heard case that I find hilarious. I know that case was what feels like ages ago. It's really like only a year ago, guys. But he is a comedian, and he was on YouTube before that case, but he decided to take footage from the case and make little reaction shorts. And he did a very nice job of it. I found myself binge watching several of these shorts, and I was really happy. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta follow this comedian. He's funny. And I found it interesting when he actually made a post stating, he also does this daily vlog, and he stated in a video that he did not, or he would not succumb to pressure from people commenting on his channel saying that he should go back to just making Det Heard shorts. And why doesn't he make more of those? And he needs to make more of those. The man has the right to run a vlog if he wants to run a daily vlog, and he has the right to show all of his other comedy because he's a comedian, right? So he hasn't built his life around making Debt Hurt shorts. He built his life around the art form of comedy, and he's created a space where those who have subscribed to his channel understand this is a comedy channel. This comedian does have a life and he will share real life stuff. And so he is balancing, mixing both of those things. But for someone to have to say, oh, this is really frustrating for me that people are pressuring me to do the specific kind of content they want, that's a big deal. I'm going to share with you some of these sharp comments. I'm going to also not play, oh dear, learning how to use a computer is super fun. So we have already 95 comments. This video has only been up for a day. Let's see what the views are on this. Nope, can't figure that out because it's stuck on a commercial. So I will just not worry about the views. But I will say we have posted one day ago, yay, I've been waiting patiently for you to find another van adventure in your heart. Another commenter, I'm excited for you. Glad you're back in the van, even part-time. It's nice to see you in this video. So good to see you back in the van. Yes, best wishes to the part-time van life. Oh gosh, living vicariously through your van life. I'm so glad you're getting back into your van. If she don't want to be in the van, she ain't gonna be in the van. But this is the downside to when you or when someone amasses a lot of their followers, subscribers, around one small topic. I do like that she's tried helping other van lifers in terms of how to make their transition for their journey. And like I said, I do hope that she's making her decision based on how she feels and what she wants and not pressure or need for income. This video is not designed to make any assumptions about her or her life. This video is designed to talk to you about your business. Yes. So niching down. Niching down is something that I have had mentors or business coaches, whatever you want to call it, comment to me about, oh, you have to niche down. You have to niche down. I swear, when it comes to being a business mentor, the advice of niching down is like a therapist saying, you need boundaries. Like, okay, tell me, why is everyone saying the kind of throwing out these phrases? And can you tell me what it really means? Okay. So what does it really mean to niche down? Well, in the example of the YouTubers I mentioned, niching down means being so narrow that while you may amass a group of people interested in your business or service or product, initially, when interest, service, product changes, or when interest changes in that service or product, you may find yourself struggling to keep the income coming in. I am someone who has multiple businesses, and one of the things that my business did was have offered dance classes in person for young people. Once, of course, 2020's pandemic hit, I took those online. Well, when the peoples decided no more, things are open, we're running out the door, I didn't really want to go out the door. I could have. And there were a lot of people who did. They were like, yep, we're back in the studio. And I'm sure their classes were full and, you know, more power to them. But I really liked delivering services online. And I hung in there as long as I could to maintain full-time income delivering that service online. With that being said, full-time income doing that just for myself would have been difficult. But in order to also keep our other contractors earning money, it wasn't viable, it wasn't sustainable. And so I had to modify my business. And I am so grateful that I wasn't so niche down that I couldn't immediately say, oh, we offer these other things, or my other business offers this other thing, and really be able to keep income being generated and sustain a lifestyle without having to resort to going to do things that I really did not want to do anymore. I set myself up so that I could change what I wanted to do and how I wanted to generate my income without feeling pressure to do something that I didn't want to do. And that is really important. It's not just the YouTube community at all, by the way. When we look at actors, the Oscar award-winning actor Matthew McConaughey, he has commented in several videos how it was a big leap for him, a big decision for him to stop doing the rom-coms, right? Because he was the attractive, perfect, dreamy boyfriend in every rom-com. He's the guy you want to get. And as much as I liked his acting, rom-coms generally follow a formula. And so I was like, you know, why see another Matthew McConaughey rom-com? So I was certainly taken aback when he came out with Dallas Buyers Club. And then I think that same year he also did, was it True Grit? The True Crime? No, True Detective. Oh my gosh, I just mentioned a movie and I think a podcast. Okay, so he did True Detective, and these performances were nothing like what we had come to know him for, at least what I had come to know him for. And that decision to take a break, to try something new, allowed him the space to then try many other different types of films and be the actor he wanted to be. So he had to move away from what he had niched down to do and refocus at just being a quality actor doing scripts that he wants to do. Now, the man has a lot of money, so he made a lot of money from those rom-coms before making that transition. However, how does this apply to you? Well, first, don't niche down so much that you pigeon yourself in a box. If you have a business or you are starting a business, maybe you have a business where you do t-shirts and you love doing t-shirts, and your most popular t-shirts are these t-shirts with cartoon figures on them. Don't be afraid, while you're still making the t-shirt various sizes, and maybe you do the little baby onesie with those cartoon figures, don't be afraid to look at whether or not you can get your customer to also be interested in having leggings or pants or baseball cap with the same cartoon figures. Don't just stick to the t-shirt. Also, look at maybe you can set up some sort of blog or course or workshop or book instructing others on how to create a business similar to yours. Or just, maybe you don't even want people to copy your formula. You're like, I worked hard for this. You can't copy my formula. So maybe instead you offer a book about your experience creating your business. You ain't got to give the inside business secrets, but what you want to do is set up something else that you feel good about, that you can be known for, that doesn't feel like a departure from your the other part of your business that you love, or just what you love in general, and that you can also continue to have your lifestyle sustained, because things change all the time. Even if you are a farmer and you aren't necessarily depending on the immediate reaction or feelings from the consumer, your crop could be wiped out. Your crop could be wiped out. There could be a drought, right? There could be some sort of bug infestation, or maybe companies are saying, actually, we don't want to buy almonds anymore. It looks like there are so many nut allergies out there that the demand for almond milk has declined. Well, if you got to fill the almonds, what are you going to do? Okay. So yes, you can take those almonds, use them to make other products. You'll have to look at other vendors to purchase those almonds. You're going to have to be looking at a lot of different ways in order to take that crop and still generate income from it. But then what's next? Yeah. So maybe what's next is then you could teach others what to do after their crop is no longer in demand. Now, I don't know how many farmers are taking my advice right now, but I just use that as an example of what could be considered kind of an extreme form of providing a specific item and working with a specific group. So being very niche down. Now, with that being said, if you are not starting a business, you don't have a business, you have no care for a business, you don't have a farm, you don't have a nut allergy, then does any of this apply to you? Well, yeah, I think it does. Because if you look at your relationships in life, are you only spending your time with those coworkers who work at, clearly you work together, but who work in a specific department, and you guys go out after work together, you eat lunch together at work. If you're only spending your time with that group of people, if you no longer have that job, maybe one of those friends leaves, or maybe you leave. Maybe you don't leave voluntarily. Maybe the company closes. Then what? Do you feel that you'll still spend as much time with those people? Well, clearly, if you're not having lunch together all the time, then maybe not. But how many of those people do you feel that you can truly call on after the work relationship has ended and have something in common with? Do you guys also have kids? Do you guys also do a lot of the same hobbies? I mean, if you were on the company sports team on the weekend, then you no longer got the company sports team to talk about or do together. So make sure that you have relationships in your life, or even relationships with those coworkers, structuring those relationships so that way it's not just about the company. It's not so niche down that if anything changed, you would be struggling to find yourself, your identity. And in this case of the friendships, we're not talking about money coming in. We're talking about our value in ourselves and being comfortable with being able to express ourselves in ways that we choose without feeling forced to stay with a company that maybe we no longer want to be at, or we're ready to grow away from because we have other skills, or just have an interest in doing different type of work, or in the case of you being removed from the company per se. You want to be able to feel like you have friends that will support you emotionally upon that departure. I know that I was heartbroken when I left a job that I enjoyed, and I felt that I was forced to leave, and the people that I thought were my friends from that job stopped talking to me. One friend in particular, we held, I think, 1 or 2 conversations post my departure from the company, and I explained to her my side of things. I'm pretty sure management told her other things, and that is understood and expected. They're not going to tell the employees the private conversations that I had with them, and it was agreed upon. I said, you don't have to tell them all the details. Tell them what you want, right? So maybe the company told her something post my departure that made her think, oh my gosh, I can't believe that Ray would do that, or is that kind of person. But given that we had a friendship and I had private conversations with her, I thought our friendship would extend beyond my time with the company. Also, we did have interactions and things in common outside that company. But when she no longer responded to messages, and when I saw her again, she acted like she didn't know me. When I called the company again, it was very, very official and professional. I thought, wow, I never expected this, especially given the fact that the higher ups of the company weren't so kind about her when she first started, and didn't think she was the smartest lamp or the brightest bulb in the lampshade. And I was happy for her to see that her career had changed, where she was given lots of responsibility and treated with lots of respect. But I thought, wow, that's so sad that in order to feel good here, you felt like you could no longer maintain a friendship with me. And there's that, right? So I learned from that experience that I really want to make sure that I am always looking for ways to create relationships that are deeper than whatever it is that initially brought us together. Now, it's not always possible to expand those relationships. Let's be honest. Everyone has acquaintances, friends, and then we have deep, meaningful relationships. I'm all about having more deep, meaningful relationships in my life because that allows me to be who I am and to not worry about changing. If I change my hair color, if I change my clothes, are all my friends going to abandon me? I mean, if it was truly shocking, they might be like, Ray, that shirt doesn't really cover your body. Are you feeling okay? Are you having a midlife crisis? And maybe I am, right? Or maybe I just want to be like, no, this is how I roll now. And yeah, we're going to lose some friends along the way. But same with business. You're going to lose some customers along the way as you make transitions. Same with acting, same with YouTubing, same with pretty much anything. We will gain and we will lose. That is life. Just stare out the window and look at a tree. Trees gain leaves. They might gain flowers or seeds. And then as the season goes by, they lose. They lose leaves. They lose seeds. They lose flowers. Trees lose flowers. Okay, my friends. So that being said, don't niche down so much so that you can't make changes without feeling pressure to be someone you don't really want to be anymore or to staying a lifestyle that you are living. I hope you found these tips helpful. And as always, treat yourself well. Until next time, peace.
Thanks for listening. If you think this podcast would help a friend, then please feel free to share it with them. If you want to check out some more Real Ray or just see me hang out with cute dogs, then feel free to visit me over on YouTube. Get Real Ray 4273.